We're almost in Canaan, right?
Very good. Do you remember what we've been learning for the last few weeks? From chapter 19, the section of what you mentioned, Yov Yosef, Paraduma, the red heifer, to purify those that are defiled to the dead, to the next chapter, chapter 20, we skip 38 years. Remember that?
Yes.
And then we're told about the passing away of
Miriam.
and thereafter Aaron. All that is happening in year number
39.
40. We skipped 38 years. The book of Bamidbar opened up with the second year. Remember, the counting, the Mifkad in chapter 1, the counting of Israel, okay, was in the second year from Yetziat Mitzrayim. From there on, were the last few months of Am Yisrael living abroad. Remember that. This is the last 2-3 months of the life of Moshe Rabbeinu. That's where we're holding. Therefore, as I said in the name of my dear father, Rabbi Horowitz, my teacher and my rabbi, all the events starting in Parashat Pinchas, they're not events. All the book of Bamidbar until the beginning of Parashat Pinchas are events. But now, as we saw on side 1 of our work page, all of what's happening now until the end of the book are preparations for entering the land of Israel. Now, if we understand that, the Musaf offering is brought here. Why is it brought here? Because we have to know what to do when we get into the land of Israel. Okay? So here, the Torah opens up the chapter with something it already mentioned, and that is the Olata Tamid. Okay? And we're learning here, the Tamid is 2 kvasim, correct? 2 kvasim. What? 2 lambs. And then, can you please tell me why the order is this? From the Tamid offering to Shabbat, from Shabbat to Rosh Chodesh? What continuity do you understand here?
The year.
The calendar year. Did you get that, gentlemen?
Yes.
From every day to Shabbat. Shabbat comes in once a week. From Shabbat, the Musaf offering to?
Every month.
Every month. Every Rosh Chodesh, once a month. And then what was the initial Korban Tamid of Musaf of which holiday? Why?
The original start of the year.
It's the original start of our year. The year for counting.
From Nissan.
The counting of what?
Going out to be intermediate.
You're right, but the counting of months. Remember, Mishnah Masechet Rosh Hashanah, chapter 1, Mishnah 1 says, Arba'a Rashi Shanim Hem. There are 4 New Years to the Jewish people. Doesn't mean you get drunk like the guy and go out and get drunk. We have a New Year for the counting of years. We have a New Year for the counting of months. Remember, and others. So the counting of months starts from, like you said, the month of Nisan, which is month number.
1.
Who decided that? In the book of chapter 12. Quote, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. Rosh Chodeshim. Very good. One more time. Rosh Chodeshim. This month will be for you the beginning of all the months that we have. Yes?
Yes.
So now we understand, as we're outlining this chapter, the order. All of the order goes according to the calendar months of the year, the holidays according to the calendar months. And since we're only commanded now in order to go into the land of Israel, that's what we're doing. So here there are instructions. Here there are instructions what has to be done. Okay? I want to ask you a question regarding what is the question number 14? What is the pnimi, the inner idea of the Tamid offering teaching us? What do you think about when you read this? What idea do you associate with? What theme are we learning from here? That every day, 2 korbanot, 1 in the shacharit, 1 in the mincha. Every Shabbat, in addition to this. By the way, regarding look at verse 10, the finale of the Shabbat offering. Al olata tamid viniska. Al, in addition to. in addition to the tamid and its wine libation, do we have the Musaf offering. There's a different pasuk that we learn from, that do you know what the opening offering is each and every morning in the Beit HaMikdash? What is the opening offering? I know that you want to give thanks for all the good things that God gave you, made a vow, you want to come. And I know that you want to bring a thanks offering. The first offering that opens up the doors of the Beit HaMikdash is this, the Tamid offering. And do you know what the finale of the day is? You can't. Yeah, I know you want to bring an individual offering. You can't bring it after this. The afternoon offering, the Mincha offering, is the finale of the day.
There's no offering.
In between, thousands of people may come to the Beit HaMikdash and bring, look please at the end of the second chapter, next to the last pasuk of the portion of the week. I think this pasuk emphasizes it. It's actually verse 39 of this chapter 29. Do you see it? It starts with the word Eile. The Torah says Eile, meaning the above, these, Ta'asul Hashem b'moadechem, do them at these appointed times, the end of the parsha. Levad, except for what? Minidrechem, your vow offerings. V'nidvotechem, your volunteer offerings. Li'olotechem, your burnt offerings. L'minchotechem, your meal offerings. L'niskechem, and your wine libations. U'lishalmechem, your complete peace offerings, so on and so forth. Do this in
between.
In between, exactly. What idea can we get from this? There are several ideas. Rav Kook, amongst other ideas, talks about Olat Tamid. Our life has to be like these two words. Constant ascent. Okay? There's no such thing that a Jew sits idle. There's no such thing that a Jew goes on vacation and we continue praying to God. We're ready in the Beit Knesset, we take out a Mishnah, we learn some Mishnah of Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We're coming up to, after these 3 weeks, quote-unquote vacation time. What does that mean? That I just sit up there with my feet on top of the chair and I just eat some grapes? No. We have to have order in life. The Korbanot Tamid, I don't know if one of my rabbis, especially an idea of Rav Kook, Rav Kashtiel explains, there's order in life. This is a Seder. The Beit HaMikdash opens up with the Olat Tamid and ends with the Olat Tamid of the afternoon. There's an order. But not only is there an order, there's public order. These Korbanot all go under the title, and we didn't emphasize it yet, but maybe you understood it. All of these are Korban Tzibor. Public offerings. We are a nation. Our major identity is that we're a national entity, the entity of God. As Isaiah says in 43, quote, Rab Tzida Kook would often bring this quote, Amzu, a nation that, Yatzarti li, I created for myself, Tehilati yisaperu, my praise they shall tell. We're a godly nation. How does a godly nation get close to God? Through here. You may not even be aware that they're doing it. You might still be sleeping that morning when they're doing it. You may have not even learned Torah until that day. But you know what? The nation of Israel is rising, ascending. It's not dependent upon your awareness, your knowledge. Of course, if you're going to hook on, you're going to be connected much more, so you can have a greater ascent. This is the beauty of who we are and what we're commanded to do. So here we're learning, number one, there's an order in the Korbanot. There's the Tzibor, the public of Israel. Are you aware? What is financing these public offerings? Do you remember? We learned it several months ago for those that were here then. Excuse me? I don't like the word trumot because it sounds totally voluntary.
Maaseh.
No. Who remembers? The what? Say it. That's right. Very good. In the book of Shemot, we learned in Parashat Ki Tisa, the section called Machatzit HaShekel, chapter 31 or 30, the half shekel. There were 3 half shekels that we had to give, but one of them is financing Korbanot Tzibur. Every morning and afternoon, every Shabbat, the Musaf, Every Rosh Chodesh and all the holidays that you itemized on your paper here, they're all monetized by the giving of the half shekel piece. That's my portion. And that's how Am Yisrael is elevated through Korbanot Tzibur. We have a wording in our Musaf prayer on Shabbat. Quote, Tamidim kisidram, umusafim kihilchatam. Tamidim according to their order, and the Musafim according to their halachot. The Jewish people have a seder, a daily order. And we learn this daily order from how we're serving Hashem in our land, God willing, everyone living in their tribal area, God willing, but through public offerings. Why? Because we are a public, we are a tzibur, we are a nation. Remember that is the inner idea of who we are. And of course, the famous acronym of the word tzibur, although it said the name of Rav Kook, but I think it goes back to the Vilna Gaon. Let's leave the Yud away. Tzadi represents the tzadikim. Very good. You heard that from your rabbis here. The Bet are the Beinonim, the mediocre Jews. And Vav, the Rishaim. Everyone's included. The wicked as well. They're part of us. They're part of us. We don't say they don't belong to the Jewish people. Some of you know that the Ketoret offering. Is the Ketoret offering a public offering?
No.
That's the only comment. The comments.
I'm asking the question again. Is the Ketoret offering a public offering? The incense offering, is it a public or private offering?
Private.
That's right. Yes, really, a private offering? But people privately volunteer offerings? God forbid. The Ketoret, like the Musaf and the Tamid offerings, they're all public offerings. There's no one is allowed to offer a personal incense offering. There's no such thing.
So it's not public.
So it is public. The person cannot bring his own offering as an incense offering. It can only brought, and we learned it another place, that it too is brought daily. There's a half a portion brought in the morning, and okay, who knows it really well, this Friday, if they read it before the Shacharit service and the Mincha service. Some of us are lazy Ashkenazim, I'm not going to talk about who, that we don't often say it. We look for discounts. But look, if they say that every morning, that we allow them to eat rice on Pesach as well at the same time. They get a big deal, right? So, Michal, remember, the Ketoret, like the Tamid, is only a public offering. Our way to connect to God is through the tzibur, through the public, through the nation. And the fact that it opens up the Korban, the daily service, you can't bring anything. So you come after the public. The fact that you want to bring private offerings in the afternoon, fine. What's going to conclude the day? The public offering, the Korban Tamid. Okay, that's for this, Steve. That's until here. Now let's continue